Hey everyone, it's Ace. Welcome back to another video. The Battlefield Labs playtest for Europe has just concluded a couple hours ago, and surprise to nobody, they immediately leaked everything that happened there, such as the new maps, the air vehicles, the general reaction of the testers, what the map is like, and so on. If you're new here, hey, hello, my name is Ace. I post 2 to 3 Battlefield videos a week, covering Battlefield 6 extensively, so if that's something up your alley and you want to keep up to date with all the leaks, then consider subscribing, leaving a like and commenting, and I also play every Battlefield game that is available to me as I'm active on the European time zone. So without wasting your time any further, let's get into the details. What did they play today? They played a map called Capstone. It's a snowy type map. On the screen you can see the concept art that I included in another video from last week talking about this map. This is the map that they played, a super snowy type map. Looked like Altai range from what the people have been saying. Then we have a mini-image drawing of somebody who is a very talented artist. You can see he drew the map of the Capstone map, right? So you can see that it's a conquest map, obviously. So it features 6 flag and it's 2 HQs, and the B and E feature vehicle supply stations plus the HQs. Obviously, they said the source is Discord. And now on the screen, I have an actual screenshot of the map from a source. It's a Chinese source, so you're gonna have to, like I said, these are leaks. You're gonna have to take them with a grain of salt. But if this is to be true, this is how the map looks like. You can see it is a plain house. And if somebody told me that I'm looking at Empire's Edge from Battlefield 1 with like a blue filter, I would believe them. It really looks to me like Empire's Edge. However, many of the testers have said something different in their feedback, so let's get over that now. And they say, word in the leak Discord is that the map plays and feels a lot like Monte Grappa. Okay, then I guess it could be Monte Grappa. I said it's Empire's Edge, it's Monte Grappa. They say it's medium in size. Is Monte Grappa really medium in size? In my opinion, Monte Grappa is a pretty giant map, at least for, Battlefield 1 standards, I guess. Maybe Galicia and some of the Russian maps are bigger, but Monte Grappa is giant. I mean, maybe it's rivaled by Sinai Desert, whatever. Let's not dwell over Battlefield 1 too much. They say it featured quad bikes, a tank, 2 LVs, a tech chopper, and a jet on each team, and also a mobile anti-artillery. So the leak that they're going to be testing the air vehicles from last week was correct from Wenik. Wenik, once again, proves to be right with his data mining. So they tested the air vehicles finally. Now, there is actually images of the F-16 jet and the attack chopper being, in action in this playtest, and they're on Reddit. And the reason I didn't include them here is because they're super edited images, with the pretty funny filters, that it makes the drawing that I showed you earlier of the minimap look like Picasso. So I'm not going to show you that. That you can go check yourself. But from what I can tell, it just looks to me like placeholder UI and maybe even the models as well. It's hard to see anything, so I didn't want to include that after I showed you the minimap. But the vehicles were tested, so that's good. How they feel, were they overpowered and so on. So far, as of recording of this video, we don't have a word. But as soon as something comes up with the air vehicles, of course, I'm gonna make a separate video, and we will go over them, of course, together. The developers also ended up messing with the movement. So it says movement feels slightly slowed and more grounded compared to the first test. Jumping and shooting is nerfed. If you don't know what jumping and shooting is, if you're living on the rock, this is when you go around the corner in a jump and you can shoot while you're jumping. It's called a jump shoot or a jump peek. It has many terms. This is what it's called. So they're already tuning down the movement. If you really hate movement, then this is great news for you. Why they're doing it so soon, I don't know. Perhaps the feedback was that, hey, the jump shooting was maybe super busted in the first couple of playtests, so now they tuned it down. Is it going to stay tuned down, or is it going to be more dynamic later on? I mean, we don't know. Maybe now they say the movement is too slow and maybe the jump shooting is worthless. So they're going to change this. So, the way movement ends up as a final product, we really don't know. This is just a test, so it might change. So if you hate movement, it's good news. If you like movement, of course, it's bad news. I personally like movement, so for me, I would like to see it be a bit better. If it's a huge problem, then I guess it could be tuned down a little bit. But if you're on the side who hates movement and the side who likes movement, I'm just letting you know that this isn't going to be the final product. So we have to wait when we are way, way closer to the release to actually see what the movement is going to be like in the game. But for now, they're testing it to be a little bit slower. Then it says, gun customization looks and feels good. They also included a picture. This is from a separate person, but they included, again, a picture of what looks to me like an MPX SNG, and this is what the customization for the gun looks like in the, the so-called Gunsmith, the Call of Duty Gunsmith system. So you can see here, you can change what your magazine, you can change your stock, you can change a foregrip perhaps, a barrel, maybe a barrel attachment, a laser sight, a scope, and perhaps the body of the gun or something. I don't see that you can change the stock of the weapon. If you look at the stock, I don't see any type of a little like cube above it. So I'm not sure if you can actually change stocks, but this is the customization that they were also testing today. I haven't seen any leaks of, like, other than this picture, I haven't heard much about it, but as you can see, the leakers in their Discord are saying that it felt good. So this is the news about the Gunsmith. Then it says, sound design for Helis and Jet is deafening, really intense and realistic. That sounds great. You know, it's maybe I'm giving a hot take here, but I personally, this is just my personal opinion. It might be a very humble opinion. I think the Battlefield 5 planes sounded terrifying. I mean, my God, when you got bombed by a, Junkers 88 Stuka, or when he flew by, phew, and the bomb fell down, it was like really, thunderous. It was like an earthquake. So this is the sound I personally like in Battlefield. So if it's gonna be anything like that, and if it's going to be close, I mean, so what, the jet is F-16, allegedly. So, if it's F-16, yeah, then make it sound close to, a modern jet sound. Just how, the Junkers 88 Stuka bomber sounded in Battlefield 5. This would be like my preferred sounding system for helis and jets and air vehicles in general. It's funny, the air vehicles actually add a lot to the very praised immersion everybody's talking about. But when they sound like shit, like in Battlefield 2042, yeah, I think you got a pretty big problem on your hand, because people get bored. When the sound is boring, you also get bored eventually. It really affects you long term. And yeah, guys, that basically concludes the current leaks that were released just after the playtest. If anything new comes up, I'm gonna make a video immediately. I got you with the leaks, and since I got you, I hope you got me, and you're gonna help me with the engagement. So leave a like, comment for the algo if you got nothing better to say, and yeah, I'm gonna of course report on everything else. Yeah, I mean, looks solid. I still wanted to test Breakthrough at some point. We have now only been seeing Conquest and once Domination from what I'm aware from the leaks. I would love to see Breakthrough being put in the mix. It's my favorite mode. I mean, every time you see me playing Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5 or any game that isn't BF3 and BF4, I'm always on Breakthrough or Operations, like whichever has a server at the time, which is nice. So I would love to see how that feels on Battlefield 6. Well, here. Okay, let's say here, how it feels. With that being said, tomorrow is Saturday, so like I said, if something huge comes out, don't worry, I have plenty of footage for you, so we're gonna include those leaks in the video as well. Thank you so much for watching, as always. As I said, if you're new here, I post 2 to 3 Battlefield videos a week. I play every Battlefield game I can get my hands on, so it's not just gonna be about the leaks, you can also enjoy some Battlefield gameplay if you so crave. See you next time, have a nice weekend, and bye-bye.